Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Today I'm pleased to announce much-needed changes to public transport in my electorate of Mayo. Following months of community consultation and then negotiations with the South Australian Government, we finally have much-needed new services for the South Coast towns of Goolwa, Victor, Port Elliot and the inland community of Mount Compass, 25 kilometres inland. The lack of adequate public transport was one of the biggest issues raised with me when I campaigned for Mayo. I heard stories of young people turning their back on further education because of the tyranny of distance, city commuters spending a fortune on parking and petrol and running the gauntlet of daily travel on one of South Australia's most dangerous roads, and patients being unable to access specialist services in Adelaide. This part of our Mayo community is home to 27,000 people and it's rapidly growing, and yet for years there was no will from the current but soon-to-be retired state member to do anything at all about public transport. So I promised to take this on and advocate for my community. It wasn't easy, but together the community and I and the state government and Link SA worked on a compromise that will make our towns more connected and help residents reach education facilities, medical facilities and jobs, all within a budget. The new service will allow early morning commuters from the South Coast to reach Adelaide by 8:30 a.m. for work. The service will terminate at Marion, not no longer as originally planned, allow students and patients easier access to Flinders Medical Centre and Flinders University. Thanks to feedback from the community, the current weekday mid-morning direct bus service to Adelaide will remain, and as an added bonus there will be more weekend services between Victor Harbour and Goolwa, and I'm excited about what these changes will mean for our whole community. And particularly for young people. In the 2016 census, we recorded just under 2,000 young people aged 15 to 24 on the South Coast and in Mount Compass. Should these young people choose to pursue a tertiary education, I wanted to ensure that I removed as many barriers as I could and allow them to do so. It's a 71-kilometre journey to the nearest university, which is Flinders. Until now, there was no way that a student could get there on public transport. Instead, they had to access a car and drive and park or move to the city, and many of them were doing that. With these new changes, students attending Flinders will be able to get from Goolwa, Victor or Mount Compass to Marion, and then a simple bus change will see them arrive for 9 a.m. lectures. Similarly, students attending either Adelaide University or the University of South Australia will also be able to transfer to Noarlunga Interchange and catch an early train to the city. The changes will also benefit those who need to attend appointments at Flinders Medical Centre. The current route is not early enough to allow patients to get there by 9 a.m. Under the changes, patients will be able to transfer to Marion as they do now, but they'll have the great freedom to book an early morning appointment. And I strongly believe that the early morning commuter service will provide a huge benefit to our South Coast community. Many of our families moving south have jobs in Adelaide, and being able to access public transport will relieve the huge cost burden of having to drive for sometimes 90 minutes a day, each way, every way. I do acknowledge that this is a first step, but I think at the moment this is the best of both worlds. The South Coast community is growing rapidly and essential services such as public transport need to catch up. I hope that in the future I am able to work with the South Australian Government to get metro buses running to Victor Harbour with metropolitan ticket prices. And I'd like to thank in particular the South Coast community for being so willing to engage with me about the proposed changes. It was lots of work, lots of community consultations, but I think we've got there. I also want to thank the South Australian Government for being willing to discuss and negotiate this issue and ensure the best positive outcome for as many people as possible. I'm glad that together we've been able to deliver this important community service for our whole community on the South Coast and in Mount Compass. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.